Coming from Politico. Cowardliness at the top. Science agency staff revolt over cuts. At an emotional meeting, Foundation officials announced layoffs for about 10% of their workforce and warned of more firings to come. The National Science Foundation went beyond the staff cuts demanded by the Trump administration in a move that set off a frenzied backlash at the science funding agency. NSF fired about 10% of its staff at the end of Tuesday, removing 168 people who included most of the agency's probationary employees and all of its experts, a class of contract workers who are specialists in niche scientific fields. I don't understand their obsession with firing people within their probationary stage, aka the future of these organizations, and those with the most experience and knowledge, especially since the Doge team is in their probationary period. These are people that are still wet behind the ears. Okay. The agency didn't have to fire its experts, but decided to in the interest of fairness, a top NSF official told staffers in an emotionally charged hybrid meeting Tuesday morning at its Alexandria, Virginia headquarters. The removal of experts was completely at the agency's discretion, because if we're asked to remove probationers, then we also need to remove at-will employees. Micah Cheatham, NSF's chief management officer, said at the tense and cheerful hour-long meeting, according to a transcript obtained by Politico's E&E News. This is the first of many forthcoming workforce reductions, he added. NSF was created by Congress in 1950 to ensure U.S. leadership in science and engineering. The agency now provides roughly a quarter of federal support to America's colleges and universities for basic research. So y'all are complaining that we're not as far ahead as other places on the globe, but this is what you're championing. Y'all get dumber by the damn day. E&E News previously reported that NSF expects to cut up to half of its 1,500-person workforce. Scientists and Democratic lawmakers fear that the staff losses of that scale could effectively break the nation's research and innovation pipeline with disastrous consequences for the U.S. economy and American citizens. This is what happens when you compartmentalize away how connected everything and everyone is. And this is also what happens when you motherfuckers are so easily distracted and appeased by people going, "Oh, we're going to give you another refund check, another stimmy. We found some extra money to give you." It's not extra money. It's your money. Do you not understand that a stimulus is a advance on your tax return? And do you not know what a tax return is? You know what? The mass firing at one of the nation's leading funders of scientific research comes as Elon Musk, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, established by President Donald Trump, races to slash federal spending with the help of the Office of Personnel Management. Keep in mind, Doge is just a rebranding and renaming of a department that already existed. And if we were talking about keeping things efficient and holding people accountable, we wouldn't have let go of our whistleblowers. Musk's group has initially targeted foreign aid and racial diversity efforts, but nearly all agencies have been impacted by cuts or expect them to come soon. A few probationary employees whose work NSF leaders determined was essential were spared from the firings. We asked who was mission critical, and more than half of the people were identified, Cheatham said. That was too many. Fired NSF staffers were instructed to stop working by 1 p.m. Tuesday, at which point they would be locked out of the agency's computer network. They had until the end of the day to clean out their desk, if malicious compliance was an organization. To avoid having the stain of a firing on their resumes, staffers were told they could resign, but then they would not be eligible for unemployment payments. I don't think this is going to be there are certain people that will claim to be sticklers for the rules because they'll forget about their friends and family, etc., that are losing their jobs because of this. But nobody's going to care. They know what's going on. And we have a felon behind the CNO desk. And before you try to correct me going, no, Taz, he's behind the Resolute desk. No, he sent the Resolute desk out to be refurbished. He's behind the CNO desk. We haven't seen the CNO desk since George H.W. Bush. The announcement prompted outrage, confusion, and concern from people at the meeting, resulted in a string of scathing all-staff emails from impacted workers. You are presenting us as trophies in front of OPM, one angry employee said in the meeting, referring to the Office of Personnel Management, according to the transcript. I don't want to hear anything about how you are sad, how you feel bad for everyone who's losing their job today. This ain't the time to get mad. Who did you vote for? Who did you campaign for? When you were sitting around the table kikiing with friends that you knew were going to vote a certain way, when you were kikiing when you knew your fellow federal employees were lying to the general public about what was going on, that's when you should have been mad. At this point, I'm kind of out of sympathy for a lot of you. A lot of you. Because a lot of y'all within the federal government had quite a while to speak up and say some shit. But you didn't. Now the leopards are eating the fuck out of your face, your chest, your arms, your legs, everything. Everything. You screwed people, hardworking people, who trusted the word of this agency, left their careers, wherever they came from, they added. That's on all of you. Take some accountability. For what? For what? The new administration. That's on everybody. That's on the people who registered to vote in record numbers but didn't show up because they were banking on somebody else to do it. That's on people who decided to let their anti-blackness, their misogynoir, their sexism reign supreme and allowed them to convince others or just easily be convinced not to stand on the right side of history. That's for everybody who sat back knowing that they were lying, their friends were lying, their coworkers were lying, their family was lying about what was going on. This is on everybody who wouldn't contact their representatives. This is on all the people that are like, well, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. When you got your job offer, this was not looming in the air. For many of you all that are now losing your job, be honest. Administrations had changed. You didn't have to go through this. But even as you watched other agencies go through this, you sat quietly. What was the saying going? When they came after, you did. An NSF official apologized to the fired employees, noting that they were following orders from the Trump administration. And they are. And they are. Before you get upset, before you start punching the air, who did you vote for? Did you vote? Did you allow people to sit around and make a joke out of this? Did you allow people around you in your sphere to just not vote, to just not do anything? Did you allow people, your co-workers, your cohorts, to lie, to deceive, to do any of this? And once again, you all watched this happen to other agencies and you said nothing. You did not. What made you think that you were going to be protected? Because that's where I'm at this point. When it happened to the first agency, I'm like, okay, everybody was blindsided. Even the second one, because they didn't leave much room in between. But we've been doing this for a while and y'all ain't saying shit. The White House and OPM didn't respond to requests for comment. NSF spokesperson Mike England said its actions were taken to ensure their compliance with the president's DOJ executive order and thanked the dismissed employees for their service to NSF and their contributions to advance the agency mission. Another fired worker warned that they were responsible for literally tens of millions of dollars in an 80-person grant review panel set to meet in the coming weeks. My email is going to go dead at 1 o'clock and they're going to say, where's that guy? Sweetheart, there may not be anybody else for that meeting. Here's the thing. Y'all are being fired and everybody else doesn't know who all is being fired. There are people at other agencies that are having to contact their superiors to let them know that they've been let go. And if these people wouldn't have fired you, they would have been fired. Somebody else would have came in and did the same thing. Once again, you're mad at the wrong people. After the meeting, staffers began sending agency-wide emails reviewed by E&E News that sharply criticized NSF the director, and other top officials. Once again, what y'all will argue with and go after everybody except for who the fuck you're supposed to. You want to be here. You want to be here. So you know what? Let me go get you some blankets and some pillows and make you as comfortable as possible in this bullshit shit show.